the book of Acts. This quarter will be all about the book of Acts. And as the author Wilson Peroschi points out, about the 3 most crucial decades of world history. Why? Because a small group of men, mainly Jews, with the help of the Holy Spirit, took the gospel to the world.
The book covers events from Jesus' resurrection to Paul's first imprisonment in Rome. This is exciting. This is the birth of the church. This is about, okay, we got something amazing, something that everybody needs, something that should change the world. How do we go about it? It's fascinating to study how it all developed, because today I have the same questions. What does it mean to be part of the church? What are we about? How can we share this great thing that we have?
And in addition, what makes even this book more interesting is that the supposedly believed to be the author of the book, Dr. Luke, is not a Jew himself. A non-Jew writes 2 books in the Bible, the Acts of the Apostles and one of the Gospels. So he writes the book of the Acts about Jews spreading the gospel. However, the focus that he has is on the gospel reaching out the Gentiles and how God works for their salvation.
Luke writes more than 1/4 of the New Testament. This is significant, and there are many interesting details in the introduction of the quarter, but the key for me is what the author says at the end. They, the apostles, they started the work. This is what the book of Acts covers. We are called to finish this work. What can we learn from their story? Let's jump into the first lesson.
Which is, you will be my witnesses. We start this week with studying the first chapter of the book of Acts. Jesus has died, he has resurrected, and he is about to ascend in heaven to his Father. He has some final words to his faithful followers that will set up the stage for a new spiritual organized movement that will last and continue for more than 2,000 years. He makes a promise to them that they will receive a power when the Holy Spirit comes upon them, and then he commissions them to be his witnesses to the ends of the world.
Must have been some very confusing time for the disciples. They saw all their hopes die. Then they were revived. Now they're confused. What's next? Jesus is telling them to go to Jerusalem and wait. He is saying that something powerful is going to happen. But what?
The disciples, and no doubt all the followers of Jesus Christ, had beliefs and hopes and expectations built in their life experience that brought them to Jesus in first place. Paradoxically, though, they were not intact with what Jesus represented and what his mission was all about. Their hopes and beliefs were for the restoration of Israel. This is what they were taught by the leaders of the synagogue and the teachers there, and by the priests in the temple. This is how their environment perceived the coming of Messiah. They still believed it even after Christ's death, because in the first chapter, verse 6 in the book of Acts, the disciples ask the question, Lord, are you at this time going to restore the kingdom of Israel? It's so ironic that after 3.5 years, the disciples still didn't know what will happen with Christ. And it's even more ironic that Jesus, patiently, without any vibration of his righteousness or rightfulness, leaves that issue unsettled and continues on with what's at stake now. Can you believe it?
It's amazing. The disciples want to know. We want to know. But Jesus just says, you be my witnesses. He says actually a little bit more than that, promising them help and instructing them how to approach the mission. But he doesn't focus on things that we can't grasp. He asks them to share what they are witnessing, even if they can't make entire sense out of it.
And further on in the first chapter, Jesus commissions his followers to go and be witnesses for him. And it doesn't sound like much. You might think it's so easy to be a witness, but it isn't. Mainly because it is a stand that one takes to make a conscious decision to go and be witness for Jesus. It's not a passive testimony. In fact, as a witness, you decide to take a stand against everything else, and this demands courage. The lesson breaks it down to 4 strategic points that Jesus used when commissioning his disciples. And there was nothing easy or accommodating about those 4 strategic points. On the contrary, it was very unconventional. They had to receive the Holy Spirit, and it was very revolutionary for its time. They had to leave Jerusalem and Judea.
At the beginning of Acts, Luke is recapping where he wrapped up the gospel that he wrote. And in Luke 24, Jesus helped the disciples understand the scriptures, that the Messiah had to suffer and die, then rise from the dead. And then a new reality with forgiveness will be preached in his name to all the nations. They were witnesses to that. It wasn't what they expected, but it was promising to be a huge adventure.
Next, Jesus, while speaking, is taken up in clouds, and the disciples return back to their upper room where more than 11 are gathered together and prayerfully expecting the promised Holy Spirit. Those who were there, they saw him ascending into the clouds, into the heaven, and there were no ropes, there were no gimmicks or tricks. They saw him lifting up off the ground. Even angels appeared before them and asked, "Why do you stand here looking up into the sky? This same Jesus who has been taken from you into heaven will come back in the same way you have seen him to go into heaven." And I can imagine how those who saw him continued with their lives, excited, anxiously expecting him to come back. For them, there was nothing unreal about it, nothing questionable, except when will he come back?
I'm trying to imagine the feeling. Excited, confused, sad, happy. Now what? As instructed, they're heading back to Jerusalem, and there is another void that needs to be filled in. Judas is not there anymore. His tragic fate is a witness on its own.
Yeah, finally, there was one more measure to be made before the things started rolling. Judas's place was free, and a new deserving witness was chosen according but to one condition. He was supposed to have been witness to Jesus' life from his baptism and, most importantly, the resurrection of Christ. The testimony given by the apostles had to be 100% genuine.
This is the beginning of a very long waiting for Jesus to return. The disciples thought that it won't be long. We believe that it will be soon. But let's not forget that at the core of it, it's a mission to be witnesses.
And join us next week when we continue to dive into the study of the lesson Pentecost.